Okay, this video is a little different. This is a film review. So I'm getting a little tired of Men of War at the moment, and I just wanted to do something a little different for a change. That's not to say that I won't be doing more Men of War videos, but I just want to have a bit of a natural break from it for the time being. So I'm going to do a series of film reviews over the next few weeks. War films in general, my favourite genre, but perhaps not just war films, we'll see. This is the first film that came to my head. This is The Thin Red Line from 1998. This is probably one of my all-time favourite movies. It's directed by a bit of a cult director called Terrence Malick, who's a bit of a legend, a bit of an auteur. He's up there with the likes of Kubrick, in my opinion. He doesn't make many films though, but he's on a bit of a roll at the moment. He directed The Tree of Life from 2011, and he's got a few more coming, I think, soon. So The Thin Red Line, in case you've not seen this film, this is a very, very intense, epic, philosophical, large-scale World War II movie set in the Pacific, Guadalcanal, and it's about a group of Marines who are ordered onto this island to just flush out the Japanese, who are holding a bunker position in the hilltop. Not a particularly formidable force of Japanese troops, but they put up a fight and the Marines have to clear the way, and it's intense, brutal combat. And they have two enemies really. They have the Japanese troops holding this bunker, but they also have nature itself as a sort of enemy, if you like. The heat, the intensity of the environment. And one of the things that Malick captures in this film is the very nature of combat, but it encapsulates itself into the environment. So you'll be watching a gunfight carry itself out, and in it you'll also see suddenly a young chick come out of its egg and die because it's not ready. Things like that. And many people would watch a film like this and get annoyed at scenes like that. This isn't Saving Private Ryan, although the battle scenes in this are intense, brutal, and pretty realistic for my money. This isn't like your kind of Saving Private Ryan war film, and both these films came out around about the same time back in '98. So they were kind of rivaling each other, but that's how the pundits and critics and the media made out at the time. But in reality, these films weren't rivaling each other because they're completely different movies. Spielberg was going for intense, brutal World War II combat. Malick was going for something a little different. He was going for some philosophical study of war and study of human nature. And the battle scenes in this are amazing, but you don't get them until sort of midway through the film. So when you first start watching this film, it's quite slow, it sort of meanders, it's very philosophical, there's a lot of narration, and a lot of people switch off before they even get to the combat scenes, if that's all they're looking for. But if you see through the sign, but by the way, I love all of that. That's what I think makes the film so intense. It probably Hans Zimmer's best score in my opinion as well. Phenomenal soundtrack in this film, absolutely phenomenal. But once you get through all of that, which is amazing, you then get these incredible battle scenes, which are very, very tactical, very strategic. In the way it's filmed, you can always sort of tell what's going on. And it's very rare in war films where you get this sense of geography and sense of manoeuvres. You really don't get that usually in war films. You usually just get a battle. It's kind of like when you watch Saving Private Ryan. It all seems very kind of linear because it's just sort of set in one location. You never get some shots of a wider landscape, a wider expanse. In this, you get a real sense of the battlefield, and the troops manoeuvre, and you get a general played by Nick Nolte who's just incredible, and he's always getting angry at the fact that his lower ranking officers are not doing what he wants them to do, and he's quite intense, and he doesn't really care how many people die in order to take this objective. But sergeants and other ranking officers are not happy about his orders, and there's a lot of, not mutiny, but there's a lot of arguing going on. And artillery in this film plays a big part. Lots of massive artillery barrages. I think if you want to see the real power of an artillery barrage, no other film captures it quite like The Thin Red Line, in my opinion. Intense scenes of artillery pounding the landscape. So The Thin Red Line, this is a formidable war film, one of the very best war films, and in my opinion one of the very best films of all time. In fact, it's a film I watch once every couple of years as a sort of homage, really, and a reminder to myself of how great this film was. And the Blu-ray is one of the best Blu-rays you can buy in terms of the quality. Absolutely phenomenal sound and visual quality. I think it's got 5 out of 5 in both categories on almost every review I've seen. Probably one of the true Blu-ray rips, the kind of, I would describe it as reference level quality, up there with the likes of Avatar and perhaps The Dark Knight, which I think is still holding strong as one of the best. So, The Thin Red Line, if you've not seen this, check it out. Incredible film, and I think it may change your perspective on many things, not just combat and war. It's a real life-changing film, in my opinion.